لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه. سبحانك ربنا لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد معلم الخير. We start our course in Seerah. The books for this course, first of all, it is the textbook of Seerah. It is the sealed nectar, Al-Rahiq al-Makhtub. We start from this. But we also study two books with this main books. One is Fiqh al-Seerah, Understanding of Seerah, done by Sheikh Muhammad al-Ghazali. Muhammad al-Ghazali is contemporary scholar from Egypt, and he did great book on understanding the Seerah. Another book which is similar to this book, it is Fiqh al-Seerah, again by Sheikh al-Buti, Muhammad al-Buti. May Allah pour his rahmah on all of them. What they do, they stop at events from Seerah, study it thoroughly, take lesson from this book, from this Seerah, and maybe for us to start with the question, why we study Seerah? Studying Seerah is very important for us. The first reason for it is to know the Prophet ﷺ. You will not have love to the Prophet ﷺ unless you know him. As much as you know him, as much as you love him. And loving the Prophet ﷺ is very essential to every person to have strong faith. And we remember that the Prophet ﷺ said to Umar ibn Khattab that no one believes unless he loves me before more than yourself. So it is very important to have this love. You'll find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directed humanity to reflect on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. Look at this ayah. It is in Surah Yunus, ayah number 16. What he says subhanahu wa ta'ala, قُلْ لَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مَا تَلَوْتُهُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَلَا أَدْرَاكُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ لَبِثْتُ فِيكُمْ عُمُرًا مِنْ قَبْلِهِ. Meaning that, say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded his Prophet ﷺ to say, قُلْ لَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ. If Allah had so willed, I shouldn't have recited this Quran on you. Quran, which is the essence of prophethood, coming from Allah to the Prophet ﷺ, is not initiated by the Prophet himself. He did not do anything to acquire it, but it is given from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah hadn't willed that, He will not have it. And this, وَلَا أَدْرَاكُمْ بِهِ. Even I have it, Allah will not make you aware of it. but it is just only the will of Allah. And this is which I want to stop at. He said, فَقَدْ لَبِثْتُ فِيكُمْ عُمُرًا مِنْ قَبْلِهِ. I have stayed عمر, age, among you. فَقَدْ لَبِثْتُ فِيكُمْ. لَبِثَ, stay. I said age within you. As you know that the Prophet ﷺ stayed 40 years among Quraysh. He was not known a prophet before 40 years. So he, in other words, directed us to reflect it on his age, in his duration. So it is one sign, it is the greatest sign to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you reflect, study. The greatest sign of Allah is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you look at the signs around you, the sun, the moon, the sky, the earth, trees, whatever you find around you, if you go to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his life, it is amazing. Amazing. Every single moment in his life has great meaning, great direction to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, studying the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is studying of the greatest sign to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another ayah which very important in this context is the ayah of Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayah number 69, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, in dialogue or in conversation between believers and non-believers, it is directed to non-believers. He said subhanahu wa ta'ala, أَمْ لَمْ يَعْرِفُوا رَسُولَهُمْ فَهُمْ لَهُ مُنْكِرُونَ. Or can be translated as or they did not know their messenger, therefore they are in denial. In reality, they know him. They know him since his birth. He grew up between them. He moved around them. They knew Kuffar Quraysh, or Arabic tribes. They know him. Who is his father? Who's his mother? His uncle? His daughters? His sons? They know his life in details. So there is no reason to reject it since you know him. He never lies. He never saying anything untruth. Always honest, always truthful, always honorable person. Why he claims something unusual? Why he claimed this message? This is a person. You can't look at the message. What is wrong with the message? What is wrong with this person? And all of a sudden, person lived 40 years, usual life, but with honor. He was known with his honesty, truthfulness, with high character, and all of a sudden he said, I am a prophet. There must be something external. It's not something from him, outsider. So, this there are reasons for studying the Prophet ﷺ Seerah. First of all, is to have this connection with the Prophet ﷺ on personal level, to start loving him, to know him, and to follow his example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran al-Kareem in Surah Al-Ahzab, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرِ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. There was a great role model within the Prophet ﷺ for those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. So, to follow his example, you need to study his life. So, there are great spiritual, religious, virtuous benefits from studying the Seerah. It will increase your faith. And to know your example, your role model, and to understand many ayat, because many ayat connected to the Seerah. Some event happen, then ayat come after, or ayat come first, then event happen. So to understand this connection, you need to learn the Seerah, the biography. And to take guidance in your daily life, you need to learn Seerah. And to understand Islam well, you need to learn Seerah. You need to learn Seerah. As for example, there is Hadith. You need to know the historical context of this Hadith. Take this example. You find that al-khamr, alcohol, was not prohibited at the beginning of Islam. Then, gradually prohibited by time and direct believers prepared them to prohibition of alcohol. And to have this idea, we always talk about Islam as practical religion. It's not something abstract or something utopia, not applicable. It was in the history, but not anymore. To apply this Islam, you need to go back to Seerah to find how the Prophet ﷺ brought Islam. It is amazing, wallahi. If you go, take this example now, take this 23 years, 23 years after the Prophet ﷺ granted, commissioned with this prophethood, after the starting point of Iqra. The first ayah revealed to him is Iqra. Just one note off now. The first ayah was what? اقرأ. What does mean اقرأ? Read. So the first command is read, is not fight, is not pray, is not do anything but read, to start. Read. 23 years from the beginning, look at the situation of the world. 23 years before, 23 years after. What happened to the world? If you want to make comparison, it is very short time to establish state, to establish business, to establish family. But now you are establishment of religion, of civilization, of great nation. And starting from where? From ashes, from stones, from desert, and make those stones, this desert, great examples to humanity. So it is amazing. So it is great reason to learn, to study Seerah. And it is an answer or an examination actually for how to apply Islam in daily life. Individually, as a community, as a state. How to change the world? It is by this Seerah. How to change? Always hear this word, change, how much difficult to do, change, how to change. This is example. This is the example. So studying Seerah has many great benefit for a person, for a community. That's why you find in all Muslim communities around the world, in the history, always they read history. They love to read. They always stay to learn Seerah. I will start with before Islam, before the prophethood, how was the world? There is a great book done by Sheikh Abu Hassan al-Nadawi. Maybe I try to I read it in Arabic, but it is in Urdu, in English, in maybe many languages around the world. This book, here, yeah, Islam and the World, the Rise and Decline of Muslims, and it is effect on mankind. This is the English translation, but I read it in Arabic in word. ماذا خسر العالم من انحطاط المسلمين. It has a different translation, meaning what the world or humanity lost by the decline of Muslims. This book, it is available online. It is a great book to read it as a whole, but now I recommend you to read the first chapter in which he described the situation of the world before Islam comes in. Because you will not understand the historical context unless you know what is the situation. Now, if someone asks, what is the situation now? Are you happy with the world now? Everything in the world now, as they call it, the world order. They want to change the order. We need to keep the order. Is really there is order? Is there justice in the world? Everything in the world in its place? Do you think that? So the question is, before Islam, what you find? You find the world in darkness, complete darkness, in one word. Darkness means completely injustice, nothing right. The religion is corrupted. The religion given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Moses, then Jesus, was corrupted, distorted by clergy, by scholars, and by kings, rulers. They give distorted religion and force people to believe in this incorrect vision of Islam, because Islam is the religion of Adam alayhi salam, to Nuh, to Ibrahim, to Musa, to Isa, to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and it is complete mixture. But this religion was distorted. The oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lost, and the real commitment to religion became like a pagan religion, and the hierarchy of religious system made difficult to reach the truth, and it is just forms, clothes, ranks, but behind it, just corruption. That's corruption. If you want more details on this, the picture of religion, go and read the story of Salman al-Farisi. Put it now, write it down, and go how Salman al-Farisi, he was from Persia, and he took long journey to become a Muslim. And he described the religious figures in his time, and he moved. And you find what? You find that this religion, oneness of Allah, the correct religion of Ibrahim, completely disappeared from earth. And the whole world, controlled by Byzantic Roman Empire and Persian Empire, divided. You will not find any kind of justice around. Few people holding the wealth, the power, and those weak people just slaves or nearly slaves between them, if their situation improved. And it is run for a long time, from century to century. You find generation after generation, families of family, tribes after tribes, living in darkness, in poverty, in justice, move it from endless, no change completely. And no hope. The humanity was desperate to have some light, to have some change. It's not corrected. Religion, nothing, zero. Order, nothing. Just powerful people hold this everything. They make the law and they change the law as they want. Nothing for weak people. And before the Prophet ﷺ came in, there is a prophecy. People desperate, waiting for someone to come to fix this situation. And you find in the story of other people, from Arabia, they are pagan, they worship stones, idols, injustice completely. But you will find something amazing. In Arabia, because tribal system is not like Persia or Roman or other countries. Which corrupted with philosophy and with brutality of kings. In Arabia, there are tribes, illiterate, but they have some virtue. They are like useful raw material, can be used, because they are free from the brutality of kings. They are free. And they are some means from Ibrahim religion, that generosity, braveness, but they are covered by paganism. So this tells you some story that every humans, they have goodness in their hearts, but covered with this, and by the environment, by own, they need to shake them to remove and back the virtue behind this. And this great movement is not easy. It cannot be done by shaky hands, or it needs great effort to establish religion, civilization, a model from ashes, and this is what happened to Islam. With Arabia, Islam came to them and taught them, teaches them, educate them, clean them. You will find this meaning in the Ayah of Surah Al-Imran and Surah Al-Jumu'ah at the beginning, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delegated in illiterate people. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منه. هو, he, Allah. بعث, delegate, sent. في الأميين, within illiterate people, referring to Arabic tribes. Illiterate. بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم. delegate, take out a messenger from them. And he said the job of the Prophet ﷺ, it has three tasks. One, يزكيهم, purify them. Purification of soul. Purification is very essential. How to purify humans? Take out vicious from every soul. Remove bad character, bad habits, evils. Everyone has his bundle from those vicious. How to remove them and how to acquire the riches. This is one job. يعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة هو الذي بعث في الأمين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته. Recite the verses. Give them the prophethood. What he received from Allah, give it to them. Then يعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة, teach them the book, the creed, the laws of Allah, kitab, the revelation, and the hikmah, wisdom. How to apply this book in daily routine, in right manner, because it is not about data formation, but to put them in the right manner. That's why we need to learn Seerah, to learn the hikmah, how the Prophet ﷺ applied the book, how the Prophet ﷺ implement the book, and not in events, in instructions, to put it in individuals. Look at Sahaba, for example, or when he deal with the enemies, the people of the book, how apply. This is from Seerah. يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. This is very enough to us to learn what is before Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described this situation by saying ضلال مبين. ضلال, straight. مبين, very clear. All humanity was in straight. They are straight. Clear straight. So this is the Seerah to start. One of the great statements made by Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu, that he said, I hope that I bring the exact wording of him. He said that Islam will not deteriorate until people or a person came in who did not know the darkness of pre-Islam or darkness of non-Islam, meaning that you will not understand the value of something until you come out from this darkness. People who are born Muslim, they do not value much their Islam as people who come in Islam, because they can't make comparison. They taste it, they know it. How the system outside Islam and how the system Islam, they can't compare. And Sahaba valued Islam very highly because they knew how they were. When they come to Islam, they come with, they have their two pictures, they can't compare. It's very easy. That's why they embrace Islam very strongly, and they are very serious about Islam because they know out Islam, there's no real life, they know it. But because generation after generation, they miss this comparison. That's why kind of weakness of knowledge, then weakness of determination, then weakness of applying. That's why you find the highest generation of Islam is generation of Sahaba. Then goes deteriorating. That's why it is very important to revive, renew. That's why Imam Ghazali wrote his book, The Revival of Islam. That's why you find the Prophet ﷺ gave us great promise. He said, إن الله يبعث في رأس كل 100 عام لهذه الأمة من يجدد لها دينها. Meaning that every 100 years, Allah will bring someone, not literally someone, maybe a group of people, maybe they will take the task of reviving. We need the revival from time, because after a while we fall drowsy, sleep, especially in times of difficulty, hardship, of ignorance. We need this ummah to people who revive the meanings of Islam, do da'wah, do knowledge, spread knowledge. Then people come back to know their religion. So you'll find the description of the situation between Islam, the situation of Arabs before Islam and after Islam, in one conversation between the king of Abyssinia. He said his name is Abraha. No, not Abraha, sorry, Najashi. He